Summer Saturday on BBC WM, the news and sport radio station for the West Midlands.
Good afternoon, great to have your company. Tammy Gooding here with a letter in my sticky paw from a certain gentleman called Kris Reid, who's been a big fan of Midlands Today, of Nick Owen, and of essentially, you know, broadcasting right here in the Midlands. And as a lifelong fan, he's also very, very keen on doing something to support returning soldiers from the war. Both his grandfathers are still alive. And he remembers being regaled by stories of both their exploits in the Second World War and wants to go on to do something with his skill of making music. And he's written this brilliant letter. So I thought, you know what, let's have a chat about it and see if we can kind of, you know, promote and support and help Kris to move forwards with this great, great thing he wants to do. Nice like that, see? That's coming up this hour plus. Hadaway and What Is Love? It's BBC WM 95.6 FM. So in my hand I have a letter. It was passed to me by TV's Nick Owen from Midlands Today. It was sent to Nick. I'll read a bit of the letter. It's from a gentleman called Kris Reid. Kris Reid sent this letter to Nick Owen. It starts like this. Dear Nick, when I was growing up, my twin brother Matthew and myself used to watch you on ATV whilst having our breakfast. When we were due to start infant school, aged 5, and both very apprehensive, we sent you this photograph of ourselves at in our St Alphege school uniform. Oh, you look so cute. It's gorgeous. I got the picture here. This is not a great radio moment, but you can just imagine these two little apprehensive 5-year-olds with their short trousers looking like, we're off to school. You said that in this letter, you go on to say, you showed the picture on your TV show and wished us a happy birthday and to enjoy school. It worked. We went off to school feeling far less apprehensive. I'm now age 32, still watch you in the evenings, and I need to ask for your help once again. That's where the story begins, and Kris Reid, who wrote that letter, is here. Hello.
Hello, Tammy.
You all right?
Seems a long time ago that now, to be honest with you.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is it a bit scary now?
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right then, okay. Now you've written in to Nick. Why did you write in to Nick? What's the story? Explain the letter.
It was really to do with my grandfather, to be honest. Really close to him. I'm lucky to have both grandparents still alive, actually. Yeah, and they've both served in the Second World War, and we've always talked to them about the stories. They're not, you know, they don't tell us everything, obviously. You know,
yeah, sure.
But yeah, and I've always been really close to my granddad who lives in this country.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something to remember him by. And he goes, I promised him that if anything came of this music, the money from the first single, if you like, would go to help the heroes. Okay. He took a group of soldiers across from Italy to England. Took him 6 months. And eventually ended back up, you know, in homeland. And I just think it's something I should do, you know. Wow. It's a great story to
yeah,
tell.
Indeed, I can imagine. I mean, you've put here how you and your twin brother used to be regaled by stories of both grandparents' exploits in the Second World War. One grandfather was captured at Tobruk, an original desert rat. Yeah. Escaped prisoner of war camp and made his way home. I mean, that's just incredible, isn't it? It
is. It's unbelievable. And I just think, I can't imagine it, you know, living now, and that's why I'm so interested. I mean, it's not like Uncle Albert or anything. It's, you know, he's actually, you know, really interesting. And I was so touched, you know, and by what his stories were. It was incredible. And
I think they shouldn't be forgotten, and they should be.
Absolutely.
You know. And then the other grandfather, a paratrooper. Yeah. And remembers a German sniper taking a pot shot at him while he was having a toilet break when resting at the front line.
Yeah, there's no rest for some of them. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah.
It is. You then go on to say, I would love to let them know how proud I am of them whilst I'm still able to, and pay tribute to all the other brave soldiers past and present. So you're a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
So tell me about what you plan to do, or at least what you'd like to do.
I'd like to play music and be able to, you know, for the rest of my life and make a living from it. It's harder and harder, I think, to get into music and make a living from it. Yeah. But it's something that I've done since I was sort of 7 or 8. Okay. And yeah, I'd quite like to do it for the rest of my life.
Okay, that sounds very good to me. That sounds very good to me indeed. What do you play?
I play the piano. Yeah, and I've tried the guitar, but I think...
yeah, me too. I can't do bar chords. I haven't got a big enough span.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think my fingers go, it's just rooted to the keyboard. I've tried, but I'd like to. But no, piano's my instrument. I think Mum was said when I went around to a friend's house when I was 7, and she was in the kitchen having a cup of tea, and she heard this. It sounds really bizarre, but there was a Waltzing Matilda.
Yeah.
And she said she heard it coming from the living room. And she walked in, and I was sat there on the piano playing it, and I'd never touched the piano before.
Oh wow! So it's just a natural, innate gift.
Yeah, and it went from there. I don't know if I should admit that, Waltzing Matilda. It's something cooler I could have said.
It's all good. My first record I bought was I'm Only a Poor Little Sparrow by the Ramblers. So, top that one. All right. So how long have you been writing songs for then? So you obviously had a natural gift when you were a kid, but...
yeah, writing songs, sort of 12 years, 10, 12 years actually writing them. Played in a couple of bands, had some really good times doing that. About 10, 12 years been writing and performing, yeah.
So what you need now really is a platform for people to hear your music, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, all right. Now what are you going to do once this music is out there and people want to buy it and people want to get their hands on it? How are you going to raise money for the troops and to do a little bit in kind of, honour of the great things that your grandparents did?
Yeah, sure. Well, I said to Grandad once, maybe last year, that if I ever made... off a single, that came out, then I'd donate that to Help for Heroes. But I'd like to do a bit, maybe donate something from gigs and actually at gigs have a bucket or somebody collecting money for Help for Heroes. So any chance I could get really to collect money for them.
Okay. What I want to do, I mean, you've got a song here that you've given us. Here Tonight.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to do is to play it.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that, if there's somebody out there... We had Pete Waterman on this show the other day. He often tunes in, so you never know, he might be listening. You never know who's listening.
Hi, Pete.
See this? I love it. I like your style. So, if you're a record producer, an independent label, if you're just a member of the public and you'd like to buy a copy of this, all right, have a listen to it, see what you think of it, acknowledge that this money is going to go towards Help for Heroes, and it's been inspired by 2 incredible stories from some gentlemen who were, served in the Second World War and did some incredible stuff. Then have a listen to this, and then we'll find out how you can get in touch with Chris Reed. So this is the track. Let's introduce it. It's called Here Tonight. It's off the CD you've brought in. Where did you record it?
This was at Rabana's in Birmingham. The Rabana studio. It's really well known in Birmingham.
Okay.
Fantastic guy called Mig, who spent half his time in Portugal, half his time here, and he recorded it for us along with the guys outside with Ferguson, Hannah and Will, who play the rest of the instruments.
So is that your band? Are they your band?
Absolutely.
What's your band called?
The band's called The Like. Fantastic band. Some great guys. Hannah's on this as well. She does vocals on this.
Yeah.
Which is quite angelic, if I may add.
Okay, beautiful. All right.
Yeah, but there they are. Yeah.
So this is it then. So this is Chris Reed and his band The Like doing Here Tonight at BBC WM. I am really liking that. That's fabulous. It's really kind of organic, isn't it?
Somebody called it wholesome the other week. I think that's quite a good, a good explanation of it. Yeah,
I think it really is. The track is called Here Tonight. If you want to get that, okay, money is going to Help for Heroes. Chris, completely inspired by the story of his grandparents who were out in the Second World War doing their bit, It's Kris James, Kris James on iTunes. If you go to iTunes, you can buy that track there, Here Tonight by Kris James, Kris James. If you'd like to follow Chris on Twitter, it's Kris James Music 1. And if you want to find him on Facebook, just look for Kris James, Kris. He's kind of blonde and handsome, really. What can I tell you? It's good stuff. So you actually have a good heart, don't you? Because not only are you doing this for Help for Heroes, inspired by the story of your grandparents, you're a teacher.
I am, yes. Hodge Hill Sports Enterprise College. I wouldn't get away without saying hello to them lot. Fantastic kids, fantastic staff. Really lucky to work there. Great school, and it's a really sort of rewarding job. It really is. Yeah.
What do you teach, music or?
I used to teach music. Yeah, I used to teach, but I work in a learning support unit now. So I'm lucky enough to work with smaller groups.
Nice.
Of fantastic kids, and hopefully, get them some decent qualifications at the end of it. But
totally
it's a great
good
place
for
to work.
you.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely good for you. This guy's got a really, really big heart. If you like what you heard, it's got to be worth downloading it, hasn't it? Money going to Help for Heroes. It's called Here Tonight by Kris James, Kris James, and it's on iTunes.
Yes.
It's a good song. Where are you playing? Where can we see you live?
Well, I'm lucky enough, actually. I've got a twin brother in Australia, and I have a nephew that I haven't seen yet, who's 2. So I'm going over for the holiday for the first 3 weeks, and my brother's got me some gigs in Australia.
Oh wow, get that!
So I've got the Australian crowds like, and then we're just planning a sort of mini tour of Birmingham when we get back. So it's just it'll be on the Twitter page as soon as we get it finalised.
Fantastic.
And, hopefully some people might like to come and see. It's a good night out anyway.
That sounds wicked. Well, come and find me on Facebook, and then you can kind of find Kris that way if you want to, if you're already my friend on Facebook. But it's Kris James Music 1 on Twitter. Just look for Kris James on Facebook, Kris with a K. And, of course, Here Tonight, the track on iTunes. Is it out now or out Monday?
It is. It's out now.
Out now on iTunes.
Yeah.
Here Tonight.
Planned ahead on that one.
By Kris James. Good stuff. All the very best of luck. I think it's a fabulous story that you shared about your grandfathers out there in Tobruk and, the original Desert Rat and all of that. I think it's fabulous. So good for you, and I bet they're very proud of you today. So
Thank you very much.
From one great singer to another, let's do Adele.